Hi, kindergarten and young five friends. This is Mrs. Fortner, and I'm a kindergarten teacher at Glen Cairn. Today, we're going to talk about managing disappointment. So I'm going to give you a second and think in your head if you think you know what the word disappointment means. It's kind of a big word. So disappointment is something you feel when you don't get what you want. Sometimes being sad or angry can be part of feeling disappointed. So give me a thumbs up if you think you've ever felt disappointed. So right now, while we're at home, a lot of us might feel disappointed that we don't get to finish our first year of school at school with our friends and with our teachers and with our principals. And maybe some of you have had birthdays while we have to be home and staying safe, and you haven't been able to have a birthday party. So you feel really disappointed because you thought you would get a birthday party, and now you have to do it different. So we had a birthday party yesterday for one of the kids in our neighborhood that lives right across the street, and we all just went outside at our houses that are right around him, and we stayed far away from each other, and we just sang happy birthday to him. And then they put a sign in the yard that said honk, Brody turned 7 today, and then we just could honk our horn when we went by. So that's a different way to celebrate. You can still be with the people in your house, but maybe it's disappointing and you feel disappointed that you can't have a birthday party like you normally would. Or maybe as the weather gets nice, you have a lot of barbecues where you invite friends or family over and you get to all be together and do things together outside, and we can't do that right now, so we feel disappointed. So we're going to talk today about how we can feel better when we feel disappointed and learn a little bit about what disappointment feels like and looks like. So we have another friend here, and we're going to learn why this friend is feeling disappointed. So see, get our picture over here. So this right here is Tony. His class is going outside to play, but the teacher asked for 2 students to help set up a special project. Tony really wanted to set up the project, but the teacher picked 2 other students instead. So look at everything you see in this picture. I'll give you a second to just look at everything. So I can see the teacher, the things on the table that they're setting up for the game. Tony has his coat on to go outside. The other 2 students are helping the teacher. And I noticed that they all look really happy at the back at the table. How do you think Tony is feeling? I'll give you a second to think about that and remember all the ways we can tell how someone's feeling without talking to them. So he looks like he's maybe disappointed, like we have been talking about, because he's not getting what he wants. He might be sad. He might feel angry. Now, how can we tell that? Look at Tony's body. I'm thinking the way his eyes look, the way his mouth looks. He's got his head down a little bit, right? And we know that he was hoping to be able to stay in and help the teacher, and he didn't get picked. So he's feeling really disappointed, and he feels like throwing something or kicking the door. Does he need to calm down? Yeah. So we know some ways to help him calm down. Who remembers? I'm going to give you just a second to think if you can remember how we can help ourselves calm down. There's a little bit of a clue in our video, isn't there? So remember, we take our hand and we put it on our tummy and we say, stop. I'm feeling disappointed. I really wanted to be able to help the teacher and I didn't get picked. 2 other friends got picked, so I feel disappointed. And now we're going to take some belly breaths. Remember the belly breaths from last week? In through your nose, out through your mouth. And remember, sometimes we close our eyes and that helps some of us feel even more calm. So on here it says Tony did that, and then he goes outside, calms himself down, and then he has fun playing with his friends. So another part of calming ourselves, we calm ourselves down, and then we just try to make the situation the best we can. So like we were talking about earlier with a birthday party or getting together with family, If we can't do that right now, we can have a birthday celebration a different way. We can celebrate with the people that live in our house. And then I also saw in my subdivision, people came in like a parade. They all stayed in their cars, but they drove by and were honking, and they had decorated their cars. So that's another way. And if you're missing family, you can do FaceTime or Zoom videos with them. So there's still other ways we can feel connected and do things when we're disappointed that we can't do them the way we did last year, maybe. So last summer, as it started to get nice out, which today, of course, it's snowing, so it's not so nice out. But as it starts getting nice out, and you normally maybe would be outside and having a lot of friends and family over, and we can still talk to them like this, like I'm talking to you right now. And you can do it on Zoom meetings that you're doing with your teachers every week. You could do that with family. So we have some different things, different scenarios that could happen on here, and we're going to talk about some things we could do instead. We'll remember how we calm our body, and then after we're calm, what could we do instead? Since sometimes when we're disappointed that we can't do or have something, we have to think of an alternative or something else that we can do to make us feel happy. So one of our ideas is you wanted to sit next to a friend at lunch, but there weren't any chairs left. So hand on our belly, stop. I feel disappointed that I can't sit by my friends. And then you could take some belly breaths, right? Who has an idea of something you could do instead? So you can't sit by your friend at lunch because there's not a chair left by that one friend you wanted to sit next to. So I'm going to give you a second to think of something else you could do. I have an idea. You could go find another friend to sit with. Or you could sit by a brand new person that you haven't talked to, and maybe you're on your way to making a brand new friend. Sometimes you sit by somebody you've never talked to and you realize, hey, we both like to play on the slide. We both like to play with stuffed animals. And you find a new friend by sitting by someone new. The friend you wanted to sit by, you didn't know them all forever, so you met them at some point, so maybe you're going to meet a new friend by sitting by someone new. So that's a good idea. You wanted to help the teacher with a task, but you weren't chosen. We kind of already talked about that one with our friend, right? On here. So he just went outside and played with friends. So he realized, well, I didn't get picked this time, but hopefully I'll get picked another time. Teachers need help a lot. So chances are if you didn't get picked this time, you're going to get picked another time because we need a lot of help from friends to set things up and do different things. So you'll probably get picked another time. So he chose to go outside and play with his friends. Let's do one more. Your mom wouldn't let you bring a cookie to school for snack. So stop. I feel disappointed I can't have a cookie in my lunch. And then a belly breath. So instead of having a cookie in your lunch, you probably got something else for a kind of treat or dessert, and you could maybe ask your mom if you could have a cookie after school. So maybe you have a healthy lunch, and then after school you could have one cookie and have a snack later, right? So that's a good option. So what I want you to do this week is keep practicing those belly breaths because they're really important and they're very, very helpful. And then I want you to draw a picture of a time you were disappointed, where you thought something was going to be one way and it had to be another way and you didn't get things the way you wanted and you felt disappointed. I want you to draw a picture of that and write a sentence or two about what happened that made you feel disappointed. Okay? And I will see you next week for another fun lesson. Bye, guys.